Welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video, where today we're going to explore a little bit of light whiskey. What's light whiskey? I mean, it's just light? Just super lightweight? Oh, it's low proof. It's lightweight. Oh, it's lightweight whiskey. Oh. Not so much. Light whiskey is whiskey that's been distilled between 160 and 190 proof. It was a style of whiskey that came into being quite some time ago because imported whiskey and imported vodka was taking away a lot of market share from bourbon. And so bourbon manufacturers started making light whiskey in an effort to compete with that flavor profile. And then it kind of went away after some TTB rules and some other things, and now it's kind of starting to make a comeback. One of the rules for light whiskey back then, and still today, is that it could be aged for any amount of time. So, it could be aged for a day, an hour, 5 minutes. But most whiskey manufacturers that are bringing it back now are aging it for much more than that. So, what we have in the lineup here is this one is High West Light Whiskey, 14 years old, aged in second fill bourbon barrels, and this one's 100% corn in the mash bill. The other three, I don't know the mash bill. This is the lowest proof of the four. This one's only 46% alcohol. So, second we have a J. Mattingly Light Whiskey single barrel, 137 proof. So, woo-hoo. This one is an Obtainium, 137 proof, and this one is 13 years old, single barrel store pick. This one's an Obtainium as well, 147 proof, 14 years. So we've got a pretty good range of different light whiskeys. Some of these were samples, obviously, that were sent to me by you guys, so thank you so much. This one came from a guy here locally in Florida. This one came from all the way up in Rhode Island, and I can't remember where that one came from. That's slipping my mind. Anyway, so let's start out with the low proof one, and the one that I know is 100% corn. And let's see, how does this compare to bourbon? Flavor profile-wise, nose-wise. Is this in the ballpark of bourbon? Is it wildly different? Because this is 100% corn whiskey, this one, I already know from trying this before, is going to be quite different than the rest of these. So, I don't believe the rest of these are 100% corn. Could be wrong, but taste and nose-wise, there's quite a difference. This one comes across very clearly as corn. It comes across as candied caramel. You know the stuff like poppycock, the caramel corn. So sweet, so sweet. Like you could pour this over top of ice cream and it'd be good. Let's taste it. Oh, so sweet. There is a bit of a bitter note halfway through the palate towards the back, where it just goes a little dry, dusty, bitter corn. The nose retains that sweetness, but it becomes textured with a nice rough note right down the middle that leans towards. It's almost oak. It's not. Maybe sandalwood. Yeah, or it's another kind of wood. Spruce. Just a little, or cedar. A little bit like cedar. That's the one, cedar. It's like walking into a walk-in wine cellar where it's all cedar wood. and dusty corn. Oh, that's good. It's delicious. It's delicious. J. Mattingly. This one has a bit more funk to it, a little bit of a plastic note. Definitely. Plastic note that I kind of get on Pinhook and on some other craft distilleries. Yes. Oh, yes. That plasticky, almost metallic, plasticky note comes through on the palate as well. It's very sweet. It's very hot. It's reminiscent of drinking like an aged, what you would imagine an aged vodka to be like. It's rough. It's a little harsh. It's a little prickly. It gives you prickles, tingles all over. But there's a sweet molassesy note on the nose that's actually quite nice. That plasticky note, though, ruins it for me. That's a note that I don't enjoy on my whiskey. I also get that note on some cask strength rums. I get that note on some releases from Foursquare, where it's a little bit of like a plasticky, harsh, chemical note that I don't love. So, on to the single barrel. Now this one is called Sugar Daddy, selected by Drink Good Liquor Distributors, Tampa, Florida. And this is 137 proof, aged 13 years, single barrel, like I said. Sweet. Oh, just creamy, like a dessert. Like, brown sugar, almost like maple syrup, like confectioner's sugar. Oh, this is like dessert. Oh, it gets a really nice toasted oak right on the front of the palate. Like just a whole slab of oak toasted, burnt. Deep, rich caramels, molasses, super dark, super sweet, absolutely delicious. Now, of course, this is MGP, in case you didn't know. MGP. Do they do anything wrong? Do they do anything wrong? MGP bourbon's fantastic. MGP rye's fantastic. Their light whiskey, fantastic. Half of my favorite distilleries source from MGP. What the heck? Oh. So, theoretically, this should be from the same distillery. It is a year older and higher proof by 10 proof points, so 5% higher. Interestingly enough, they smell very similar, but my bottle actually comes across a little darker, a little richer. This comes across lighter and brighter and more alcohol forward, which I don't prefer. Oh, but the palate, though, is so nice. Oh, my gosh. Woo! That takes you for a ride. Oh, my gosh. It's all candy and just molasses and sticky buns and glazed donuts and raisins and like buttercream frosting. That's so weird. This is a roller coaster ride of emotions. This is dark and rich and gorgeous. I can't pick between those two. Those are two rides. Those are two interesting rides. Oh, spicy. The spiciness blooms and then fades. Oh, cinnamon showing up, spearmint. Whew. Light whiskey is neither light, same way as regular whiskey, nor is it low proof. It's not lightweight whiskey. It is whiskey for people who are adventurous enough to go very high proof and not be confined by a lot of the other rules of bourbon. So it's an interesting new field. I really hope that more of it starts showing up on the shelves. This was the first bottle of light whiskey that I've ever been able to buy on a shelf that I've ever seen here in Florida. And I found this one over in Fort Myers, Florida, at the Fiddlesticks liquor store. And this is the only bottle of light whiskey that I've been able to actually get my hands on. It's a field of whiskey that I absolutely love. There are two fields of bourbon that are the most interesting to me. That is American whiskeys, where they're not being constrained by the new oak barrel rules, and light whiskey, because you can do so many things with it. There's no constraints on age and all of that. So I think it's interesting. I'm fascinated by new fields of whiskey and exploration. So keep an eye out for them. They're coming back in a big way. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more light whiskey on the shelves in the next few years. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.